lights and horn work, it's entirely arbitrary and designed solely for revenue collection purposes only. Haymarket Police Chief Kevin Land took to Facebook this week to warn the citizens that his officers, instead of solving and preventing crimes, will be patrolling the streets to extort people for not having the sticker. He threatened the citizens with a $35 fine. He then said that if the citizens choose to bring the ticket into the department and buy a sticker, he would forgive their debt. However, Police Chief Land said that, quote, "If you do not do that within 2 weeks, we will take other corrective actions against you," end quote. The Facebook comments that accompanied the video were critical, if not downright negative, and the police department has since removed the video. Last week, Ecuador's government gravely undermined not only its national sovereignty, but international refugee and asylum laws by allowing UK police into its London embassy to arrest then-Ecuadorian citizen, Ecuadorian asylee, and journalist Julian Assange. Minpress News reports that the shocking yet somewhat anticipated decision has shown that Ecuador's government, led by Lenin Moreno, is willing to play fast and loose with its domestic laws, as well as international law, if it stands to benefit Moreno and his increasingly unpopular administration, whose approval rating now hovers at around 30%. A key factor in Moreno's decision to revoke Assange asylum and Ecuadorian citizenship was alleged to be Moreno's rage at WikiLeaks for simply retweeting and spreading information regarding the burgeoning INA paper corruption scandal, which centers around an offshore bank account in Panama linked to Moreno and his family. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The dangerous winter storm Rocky is expected to pummel the Midwest throughout the day, with meteorologists predicting the blizzard will hit Kevin Hodges of Joliet, Illinois, the hardest, given the way his year's been going.
Yeah, we're stocking up on everything. I think school's going to be canceled. We're just glad we're not Kevin right now.
Joining us now is Jordan Blake in Chicago. Hello, Jordan. Just how crippling will this storm be for Kevin?
Well, we've already seen a lot of damage. Motorists in Kansas trapped in their cars on the freeway. That's nothing compared to the emotional damage Hodges can expect. Having to deal with a sick cat, frustrating new hours at work, and a confusing breakup all in the past 6 months.
You know, we're getting reports that he recently loaned $600 to a friend who has no intention of paying him back and slammed his finger in a car door last month. Does the National Weather Service have any advice for Kevin today?
Not much he can do. The sky is really vulnerable right now. Authorities are recommending that he just stay indoors and think about his mistakes.
That sounds like good advice. You know, he looks like a real sad piece of shit. Stay warm out there, Jordan.
This is the Onion News Network. Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. We make it easy for you. All you have to do, whatever that pressing issue is that you're thinking about that's cluttering up your brain, call in, talk about it. It's Mark with you.
Melanie. And Aria.
Aria, welcome to the air here on Free Talk Live. How would people know you?
Presumably from Call to Freedom?
Yeah, Call to Freedom. You do a show just before Free Talk Live here on the air.
Correct. Monday through Friday.
Tell us about Call to Freedom a little bit.
Well, it's been a bit directionless lately since Will left the show unofficially. So, I mean, it used to be a Muslim show, interestingly. Now it's run entirely by atheists. No religious people on the show. So, I mean, it's kind of directionless. It was brought to my attention.
It's got a direction. It's a libertarian show.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. But it's been brought to my attention that every single person on the show is some type of LGBT. So that's probably an angle we're going to work on it in the near future.
All right. That should be interesting once the LGBT or whatever, the queer folks, find out that the show exists. Then they'll come, they'll listen, they'll be outraged that your opinions do not fit the mainstream queer opinion. And then what do you do?
I continue doing what I do.
I see. There was a show called Flaming Freedom at one point that was somewhat similar.
Was that the one they did naked?
Well, at one point, I think.
They did Anarchy After Dark naked or quasi-naked a lot of the time.
Oh, my.
Anything after 10 p.m. apparently is done naked.
Yeah, not Free Talk Live, thank goodness.
You're not after 10 p.m.
That's right. So, anyway, welcome here, Aria.
Thank you.
And I have a news story, which I found interesting. I think people always want to know this, is the places where the disparity between men and women in quantity exists. Right? When I was a young man, I always wanted to know where are the places where there are more women than men. And every once in a while, you'll hear this story. Like, I don't know, be it Iceland or Peru or wherever it is that they've picked. They've got like 6 women to every man or 8 women to every man.
That's a nice ratio.
Gentlemen, when you hear this story, it's wrong, okay? Like, there's no place on the planet that isn't completely ravaged by war and aliens came along and sucked up all the men, that you have that kind of ratio. I mean, that's incredible. But sometimes the odds can be stacked in your favor a little bit. And here, the news.com.au, so coming out of Australia, claims that, yes, it's true. Australia is experiencing a man drought. It's not all in your head. Australia is experiencing a man drought, and these are the areas that are worst affected. So, where should you go if you want to find a beau? If you've been feeling a little lonelier than usual and wondering if all the men have disappeared, the good news is it's not all in your head. The bad news is you're right. The men have disappeared. 6 out of Australia's 8 states and territories are currently experiencing a man drought, according to McCrindle Research. And there are almost 100,000 more women than men. The man drought is a demographic reality, says Mark McCrindle, Mark McCrindle of presumably McCrindle Research. A social researcher and demographer analyzed the Australian Bureau of Statistics data on the ratio of men to women across Australia's regions.
I mean, isn't that the case worldwide, though? That 55% of the population or whatever is female?
Oh, and it's not that quite that high. But it is, I think it's probably 50.5% female and 49.5% male. But women tend to outlive men. So it's not the women you want worldwide.
Okay.
However, in Australia, maybe it is. So it says here, Australia has 100,000 more females to males, even though there are more male babies born than females, and there are statistically slightly more male babies born than female babies. And there are more males than females until around age 35. By the way, males are more likely to die in their youth than females are, so It usually takes it out. They're dumb.
Men do dangerous things, whether that's for money or just for,
Kicks.
likes.
Right. I used to jump a BMX bike over a floppy wooden ramp to try to make it across a ditch. We never made it across, ever. And we ditch it into the sort of, it's a little river ditch thing. I don't know what to call it, but we were generally unharmed. I'm not going to call it safe. I was going to use the terminology safe. That is an inaccurate statement. We were generally unharmed by the activity, and sometimes we were harmed, but rarely did we break something. That did happen once, but it wasn't me. So, yeah, those kind of things happen, and sometimes the young men do something and, I don't know, get swept away by the river or whatever.
And you're correct. It's generally not women doing that.
Yeah. They were watching.
Oh, I'm sure.
They always watched.
I've not seen a whole lot of women jump off of roofs.
Right.
I've seen men do it.
Yeah.
For no particular reason. The house wasn't on fire or anything.
Right.
There's no female version of Jackass, as far as I'm aware.
No. It's that might sell, though.
It would.
It would sell.
I would watch it.
And yet, still, even with that premium, it doesn't exist.
even with that premium, that people would be more willing to watch. For those that don't know what Jackass is a show from MTV that turned into, I think, 2 movies. Actually went and camped out for Jackass 1. I've never camped out for a movie before or since, and nobody was camping out for Jackass. I had no belief that Jackass was going to be a movie that people would camp out for, that we would not in any way get tickets. I just thought, if you're ever going to camp out for a movie, what better movie to camp out for than Jackass, right? Only a Jackass would camp out for Jackass. And so we did. And, we spent the night out on the sidewalk in Sarasota, Florida, essentially is what we did. We had a tent. Without the stakes, it's just kind of one of those pop-up deals.
Okay.
Yeah.
How bad are the mosquitoes there?
It was downtown. There wasn't an issue.
Okay.
Every once in a while, a bum would stroll by. We never got the news coverage we kind of hoped for. I wonder if the news will come by. Well, you didn't call them. Why would they come by? There's just a tent. The security guard never even bothered us. So, whatever. Anyway, for those that don't know, Jackass was a show where young men did stupid things, and they were compensated, but I think they got the job because they did stupid things before that. So a whole variety of dumb stunts that would get someone harmed or, something like that. And I recall one time they rented a car and they bought the insurance on the car, but they destroyed the car, spray paints, everything like that, and then returned it as though nothing was happening. And the people at the car rental place just freaked out. And they're like, what? We got the insurance. So I think that's funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was amusing. Some guy jumped on a trampoline and shot himself into a spinning ceiling fan. He wasn't hurt. Ceiling fan's not going to hurt you. Anybody who's stopped one with their hands knows, it's not going to hurt you. It doesn't have razor blades spinning on it, so you'll be fine. But either way, that's kind of how it went. And anyway, back to the story here. What we need is more females, apparently. Australia has 100,000 more females, and there are more males than females until around the age of 35. One of the reasons that men have there's a man drought is because men are increasingly heading overseas to work. So the man drought is most evident during the working years, people in their mid-30s to mid-60s. That's not an unenviable number for women. I mean, there's some guy out there looking for women mid-30s to mid-60s. It's a sign of the global workforce flow and propensity of Australian men to take advantage of overseas work opportunities, he says. When you hit your mid-70s, the man drought becomes far more evident as longevity of women exceeds that of men, and by their 80s, there are 50% more females than males. So I don't know. I don't know that the issue here is, but I've always been interested in these stories of, where's this place? What about you? 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE, the Shangri-La of women.
Happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Free Talk Live.
There's going to be no food by February.
Oh, that seems a little extreme. I find that hard to believe.
Well, watch it happen. Hope you find Christ.
Oh, good luck, buddy. Thanks.
What really turned me away from religion was the fact that most of them are so intolerant and nasty.
What do you mean?
Your life will suck unless you find Jesus. Well, I had Jesus a long time ago, and he didn't really do anything for me, so I got away from that.
Right, and I can tell you that if you want to have that attitude with people, like, well, you better find Christ, or you're going to burn in hell.
Yeah.
Then
good luck converting people.
Yeah, I really want to hang out with people like you, there, Keith. I really want to hang out with people like you. So I'm sorry to those good Christians out there listening that aren't like Keith. But it's the loudmouths like Keith that do real damage to your religion and how people feel about it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You're free to call in, talk live here on the airways. The telephone number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
Aria.
Aria, thank you for joining us here on Free Talk Live.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and from Call to Freedom.
Correct.
So I just read a story here from Australia, and apparently there's a disparity of men to women. I'm not entirely sure what the issue is. I just always found those stories interesting, and, I don't know, young men, go to Australia or something. Or it's not even that young. It's like the big numbers are women between the ages of 30 and 60. So
that's definitely not young, but it's certainly not old either. I mean, there's still plenty of time to live and find yourself a chick and have a good time.
Yeah, my experience is that prior to about age 30, it was sort of the girls' world as far as dating went. They got to make the rules, they got to decide how things went and all that stuff. And then somewhere around 30, everything kind of changed. Their biology began to kick in, their thought processes began to change. They were looking for a man. And then they're not looking to have a good time anymore. They're looking for somebody who can, keep a job, for instance. And, that's when, I could tell the sea change just in these, the desperation of these ladies. And, I got less interested in getting tied down at that point. Dating got a lot easier. I don't know. That was just an experience that I had. If you're had something different, the number's 855-450-3733. I imagine the dating pools get smaller just generally as you go from like
Sure.
18 to 40.
Yeah, because people start getting married and they settle down and all that.
Right.
But if you're into cougars, I mean, it sounds like Australia is Disneyland.
Right. I think, when it comes to, we're talking about the older men too. I mean, I would think that when you're the guy at the nursing home that's willing to date, I imagine you have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
Because the women are going to live longer. They're going to have their facilities about them longer. Just quite generally, they are going to be more available. I have seen, it's been my experience in life, and this is just a generalization again, that men tend to make it, once you get past that sort of 35 threshold or whatever, where you're really driven by sexual urges, men can make it on their own without women with more happiness than women seem to be able to make it without men in that same category. I'm not saying there aren't bachelorettes out there that stayed that way forever. I'm just saying, the old song was old men talk about the weather and old women talk about old men. It's kind of what I see,
Interesting.
Yeah, they just see their relationships that way. I don't know. That's my experience. Let's go to Sarah calling in from, I could tell you like pretty much her apartment number. She's called in so often. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I just want to let you know that, I have made myself to be nice to all of the talk show hosts on the radio. I have learned.
It's a good idea.
So no matter, the thing is, I hear a lot of callers, they tell you off. I mean, they threaten your life and all that.
Yep.
But the thing is, here's the thing is they're sorry because they're like, well, how do I get back on the show? They're like, well, I got banned from the show. It's like, well, I mean,
they're not just they're not asking for advice, Sarah. They're outraged that they're not able to get back on the show. It's called Free Talk Live. I've got rights. I've got rights to be on the air. You said I could be on the air. I'm sure that they're that way with every other talk show that they can't get on the air and couldn't get on the air with before. Free Talk Live letting them on the air far more than anybody else. But you're right, Sarah. Oftentimes they do want to get back on the air. And you have a great system, right? You attract far more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Well, the thing is, that I get confrontation with you guys, and sometimes I have many disagreements with politics on many issues within and everything. But the thing is, I never get mean about it. You know what I mean? I could disagree with you, but I don't have to be calling you being we're to the point where they want to ban you from the show. I mean, how do you do that? They got.
Well, usually they do that with death threats. Yeah, so there's a difference between being confrontational and disagreeing and calling in and telling people that you're going to kill them.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know, but for me, I like it when a person gets run over by a car 2 times. I want to be able to call in and talk about it.
Yep.
They ran over the same time with 2 different cars. I've already called in maybe 2-3 times already every time it happens. But it's a big deal for me to talk about pedestrian fatalities and gun control issues. A lot of things that I do want to talk about. So even though that I do get mad, but what do these people do to get bad? I mean, I think
they get really upset because we don't agree with them about certain things, and they're not able to handle that emotionally like adults, like you're able to.
Right, Sarah. So what you're able to do is you're able to say, I'm calling in to reach the listeners, not the talk show host. But the vast majority of people want the talk show host, in our case, to agree with them. And when we don't necessarily agree, because we start skeptical, and B, the calls that we agree with aren't going to stay on as long generally, because it's like, oh yeah, you're right. See ya. What are we supposed to do? And that makes them outraged. They then get entrenched in their position. We're then entrenched in our position because they haven't made any efforts to learn how to persuade people to their side. And to be persuasive, Sarah, you're 100% right. Nobody's persuaded by somebody who's yelling at them, calling them names. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about understanding the ideas of liberty. This is about persuading people to anything. You cannot persuade people who are unhappy with you.
But the thing is, here's the thing, but you're right. My emphasis is to reach the listeners. I said maybe like 5 to 10 listeners who almost got hit by a car or almost got T-boned or something like that. Those are the listeners that I'm listening to because, I do believe that if they listen to me, that they will go out and do something. It might be a city council meeting. They might write a letter to the journal, the newspaper. They could email and phone call. They could organize. They could do something. But it's that few people, the listeners, that are the ones that I am listening to.
Right, and
I don't know why there's so much into the host to beat you guys up, to argue and prove you guys wrong. I mean, what's the point behind it? You know what I mean? Because then my objective is to have safer streets never get accomplished. That's my objective.
Right.
So
what they do is effectively they're so confrontational in many cases that either they get kicked off the air entirely or they they're just their calls are shortened or whatever, because nobody wants to listen to that constant that buzz saw of anger if it's not directed well. I mean, people seem to want to hear Ian and I argue, but that's I think a different situation. But yeah, I agree with you, Sarah. I think you're right. These people are deplatforming themselves and they're getting the opposite of what they want. Thank you for the call.
Homemakers. Groceries by mail ships free. Try our amazing bacon. It stores in your pantry. No refrigeration required. Our value-added packaging provides a 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Always priced less than grocery for your everyday use. Savory and delicious. Order today at readytoeatbacon.com. readytoeatbacon.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind, as Sarah just did. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
And Aria.
Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin Cash related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet. So a Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin Cash, and it can show you where to spend your Bitcoin Cash. You can read the latest news or engage in the community at the Bitcoin Cash forum there at Bitcoin.com. I like the news section. I'm kind of a news junkie myself, and they've got a real reporting staff over there. Not like, well, a lot of these crypto outlets just repeat the stories that the other ones put out. They're really just sort of, I don't know, it's got echo chambers almost. Not so much. I've met the staff at Bitcoin.com, news.bitcoin.com, and they're real folks, and they're really working, and frankly, they can cover stories 24 hours a day. They've actually got a Telegram group where if you are as excited about Bitcoin news as I am, and like 60,000 other people are, you can go to news.bitcoin.com. The link there to their Telegram chat is available, and then you get the story right when it's put out. Learn more. Just go to bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. So, Melanie, you've got a story. Apparently, the IMF, it might be in some way related to what happened with Julian Assange here recently.
Yeah, so, and this is from IMF.org. Julian Assange was arrested last week he was turned over by Ecuador because he was in the
Ecuadorian embassy. Yeah. For like 7 years. And he looked like a hobo when he came out. I mean, it was
7 years in prison, effectively.
Effectively, yeah. He could have shaved if he wanted to. It's not like
Do we know that? I mean, could he just like order stuff from Amazon and get razors? I mean,
well, I mean, people were delivering stuff to him. So, I mean, yeah,
okay.
He could have acquired razors. The rumors from the Ecuadorian staff is that he did not take good care of himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
which again, 7 years in effective isolation in prison, well, they'll do that to you.
He had Ecuadorians to talk to. I mean, he would like to have left. There's no doubt. But, yeah, looked like a hobo.
He did.
Yeah.
And being carried out, shackled, screaming did not help.
No, he looked like a crazy hobo.
Yeah, so this was published by the IMF on March 11th, 2019. Wasn't really relevant on that date, but I feel like it's relevant now. IMF Executive Board approves U.S. 4.2 in U.S. currency, $4.2 billion extended fund facility for Ecuador.
So they got a loan?
Yes.
For $4.2 billion.
Yes.
All right. And what you're positing here is that part of the collateral for that loan is turning over Julian Assange to kicking him out of the embassy?
I don't know if that was like a term of the loan or if they were like, we just gave you $4.2 billion. You need to give us this guy now. I mean, ain't nothing free, right?
Right.
So,
but
what is the timeline here as far as Assange being evicted?
The IMF gave Ecuador $4.2 billion, and then a month later, Assange was turned over.
Does the IMF not like regularly give Ecuador money?
I don't know I guess I would ask.
Not regularly enough for them to post stories about it when they do it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think the IMF hands out money quite that often, but maybe.
Well, how else are they going to create poverty in countries like Ecuador?
Right. You're talking about the book, the Memoirs of an Economic Hitman, or something, where they use the IMF in order to impoverish. They put these nations into debt, and when then they can't pay, they take their resources, and basically that's the new imperialism, essentially.
Exactly.
I wouldn't doubt that to put a deal together, they could very well have said something like, "Sure. This loan, I mean, obviously Ecuador applied for the loan, and the IMF is in some way related to, the United States and Great Britain. These are the powerful nations in the world. This is the International Monetary Fund. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's just like, oh, sorry, we're not giving you loans while Julian Assange is holed up in your embassy. I mean, you've been keeping this man from justice. It's very important that justice is served." Or justice, and they probably said justice again because that's important. I wouldn't doubt that was the case. We don't really have any evidence, but I think it's probably worth some speculation.
Yeah, and it was contingent on this plan. So from the IMF, the Ecuadorian authorities' plan aims to create a more dynamic, sustainable, and inclusive economy for the benefit of Ecuadorians. It is centered around 4 major priorities.
That sounds like horse crap, all of it. But go ahead. What are those priorities?
Boosting competitiveness and job creation, strengthening fiscal sustainability and the institutional foundations of Ecuador's dollarization, protecting the poor and most vulnerable, and improving transparency and bolstering the fight against corruption.
Time out. So they're like, Ecuador, you have problems with spending. You're not fiscally responsible. Here's $4 billion.
Yes.
I don't think that's how logic works.
It's not, but that's not how...
They're not trying to make them sustainable and, self-sufficient. They're trying to make them dependent upon them.
Certainly, and I looked it up. That's about 2.5% of Ecuador's GDP.
It's good. It's a good loan.
Given. Yeah. It's a huge loan.
So that's a large percentage of what they will bring in taxes this year, too.
Yeah.
Because, obviously a country can only bring in a percentage of its GDP, in taxes, and it's just going to claim, it's just going to see a huge boost. So I don't know, something between increasing taxes by a third again to doubling. I don't know, somewhere in that range. Just a guess.
Yeah, and then, as stated, once the Ecuadorians can no longer sustain the economic hardship caused by the debt from this loan, then they'll bring in the corporations, the American corporations that are less scrupulous than we would like because they have the state backing them.
Right. Then the corporations will pay money in order to get the the sweetheart deals, to the resources that they want, or cheap labor or whatever, to the point that enough corporations come in and they milk the area sufficiently that everybody gets so angry that they kick them all out and socialize all the things they did and ruin it, and then the government goes into deep debt and whatever. Then they take a loan out from the IMF, and then they start this thing all over again. And who benefits? The politicians benefit. The rich businessmen who are in charge of the corporations. To some extent, Americans who are stockholders for these corporations in the forms of their IRAs and their IRAs and different mutual funds. That's the term I was looking for, which IRAs and mutual funds are basically the same thing. But more or less that's how it goes. And those are the people that benefit: the bankers, the businessmen, the politicians, the ruling class, and that's it. Let's start it all over again. And let's be sure to be indignant about how bad the poor people are at paying their debts back.
Yeah, that's critical.
It's really important.
Because otherwise you can't rile up America enough. You have to get the American people to go along with this kind of thing, or to at least be complacent in it, or to turn a blind eye to it.
Sure.
And pretend like we don't know anything about it.
Right. If it was a person taking a loan, right? Aria, if you borrowed $1,000 from me to set up your own business, and you blew that money on hookers and coke, and you decided that you were...
And the business was not hookers and coke related?
It was not hooker. It was not a hooker and coke related business. And then you come back to me and you want another loan, and I'm like, no, you're completely irresponsible.
Except it's worse than that. It's like if Aria.
That's a fair thing. But in this case, it's the politicians that took the money, blew it on whatever they felt like blowing it on.
Probably hookers and blow.
Right. Probably hookers and blow after they put this 4-point list of crap that they say they're going to spend it on. And then they blame. And then all the poor people get blamed. The people of Ecuadorian people generally, the taxpayers, get blamed for not paying it back. Well, they weren't the ones in charge.
Take it out. Well, and they didn't take out the loan.
Right.
And even if they did, you don't loan poor people $4.2 billion. You don't loan rich people $4.2 billion.
Well, I've lent money to the people of a person or two in Ecuador through Kiva.org, and they paid it back.
Not $4.2 billion, they didn't.
855-450-3733.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.5%, APR 4.78%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. Pay 2% fee. Receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Ah, the bull elk's bugle, one of nature's most wondrous sounds. That is not a bull elk, that's Kim. Her RV sewage tank is spewing all over her camper. Way, way out in the middle of elk country. Yep, there's an elk. And that's Kim. It's wild out there. When it gets too wild, Progressive has your RV covered. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever you want. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
And Aria.
Let's go to the phones. Oh, before we go to the phones, I want to tell you about the Amplifier program. So if you go to amp.freetalklive.com, you can help us spread the ideas of liberty around the world. We're on almost 200 radio stations across the U.S., and we're bringing the message to something like 500,000 people every month that would not otherwise be seeking out these ideas. That's pretty effective. Now, there's a lot of effective liberty organizations out there. I'm certainly not going to say anything bad about Reason or Cato or anything like that. But Free Talk Live hitting 500,000 people that weren't otherwise looking for these ideas. That's pretty impressive. If you want to help us go a little bit farther, please go to amp.freetalklive.com and amplify the show, like Nathan Benson did, who's a silver amplifier. We only ask for $5 a month. And we don't use it to, on paychecks or anything like that. We use it to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. Thanks, Nathan. Thank you to you. Thank you to every amplifier. Let's go to Dave calling in from New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, the Free Staters are back in the news a little bit in Manchester.
What are Free Staters?
Free Staters are people who moved to New Hampshire for more freedom.
Yes. Okay.
And they tend to become activists.
Yep.
And so I guess Carla Garrick is the former president of the Free State Project, and she called a demonstration last week because she's angry about some of the things the Manchester Police Department are doing.
All right. What's that?
Now, the most recent thing was, they started putting up cameras in Manchester. And I think I was under the impression there was supposed to be some sort of law against that in New Hampshire. I don't know.
There's a law against traffic cameras.
Okay.
These weren't traffic cameras. They were just on the sidewalk.
Just closed circuit TV cameras so they can keep an eye on you out there.
Another reason I don't go to Manchester.
They recently also killed somebody in Manchester near the main mall, and two other people died as part of that incident. And Carla wants to know what happened to the other two people who sort of died in this standoff with police. The police say they came in and they were already dead or something along those lines. But one of her concerns is that apparently there was a use of some sort of chemical device. I don't know if it was just mace or something, but she seemed to be thinking it was maybe something more serious. And there's a sense I think she has that, look, how do we actually know independently what the police said is true?
Right. It's a really good question, and a question as old as just the concept of having police is who watches the watchers. Anybody is going to be predisposed to fibbing about their mistakes. If they were like, "Ooh, messed that up," well, gonna have to cover that up. And if there's nobody watching, then we don't expect the average citizen to obey every law and do everything right. That's why we have police. Well, why do we expect the police to obey every law and do everything right, especially when they're dealing with lawbreakers all the time, or presumably lawbreakers?
And when we know they don't do everything right. There have been countless stories about police being arrested, well, not being arrested, but being caught carrying around fake guns in their cars.
All kinds of stories of all kinds of different things. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, even when they're not dealing with lawbreakers, the fact is they raided a motel, right? They're after some drug case or something like that. So they decided to cause trouble at this motel where the guy was staying, and then they went ahead and they evacuated the whole motel and then wouldn't let anyone back in or let them to their cars for many hours after the standoff was over. And there was an indication from the Attorney General's office they weren't even going to let people back to their cars for days.
Yeah, these kind of things happen. Once they say, well, this is important. This is an important crime scene. Somebody has smoked marijuana in this hotel, and nobody can go back to their room for hours. That's crazy.
I looked pretty closely into this guy who they were raiding, and he was accused of firing at them, but all of his offenses before that were just drug and failure to appear type offenses. It was all victimless stuff until the DEA shows up with a Manchester PD gunman, and then that's when the firing starts.
Yeah, how would you know? I mean, I could presume that the police are correct, but it's hard to know for sure who fired the first shot and what happened. Where's the evidence? We won't get a court case.
No,
the guy's dead, so the public just has to presume that they have been served here, and that's it. Suck it up and take it. We keep you safe. Well, how do I know?
Without us, that guy might be selling drugs out of that hotel room. Aren't you glad we murdered 3 people?
Yeah, so in the absence of the state, you have 3 or 4 degenerates sitting around a hotel room getting high. In the presence of the state, you have a shootout in the parking lot of a hotel room that goes on overnight. These are your options.
Right. Let's not forget that these walls are paper thin, and Lord knows where these bullets are going.
Yeah.
So,
Well, at least here they've got some opposition here.
That's true.
Yeah, I suppose that's the case. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the the Free Staters have a whole heck of a lot of an effect on the police and their depredations in New Hampshire. I think the police in New Hampshire were probably a cut above police in lots of places in the United States, but that's just maybe that's chauvinism, maybe that's it's anecdotal certainly, but I mean,
they certainly don't seem to have had much luck in Manchester as far as police accountability goes. I mean, it has one of the worst jails I've ever heard about, much less in New Hampshire.
So what do you think, Dave? I mean,
that's what my last call was about a few days ago. There has been bail reform, and the Manchester jail is now at half its population that it was a few years ago.
Should be at 0 population.
Well, there's probably a reason for a jail. I mean, don't you think, Aria?
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, I'd love to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan
Thanks
of
for the call, Dave.
Holding people hostage against their will.
Either they're too dangerous to be alive, or it's none of your business and you can let them go.
Well, you have to have some place to hold them while you determine if they're too dangerous to be alive.
Well, if they're too dangerous to be alive, I'm going to shoot them when they attempt to aggress against me.
Yeah.
So so you're not advocating, Melanie, for a death penalty that is administered by the state, right?
Yeah. So I don't want the state executing people for the same reason that they will pull your license after your 20th DWI. Clearly, you have exhibited the fact that you cannot drive properly. If you're the state, you have just killed too many people inappropriately, so you're just not allowed anymore. Same kind of deal. I don't want the state doing that. But if somebody is going around aggressing and a sane person decides, you know what, I got to stop this, oh well.
So it seems to me that there are violent offenses that don't reach the level of killing somebody. So, like, for instance, if somebody, I don't know, is stealing cars, you're going to want to apprehend them. You're going to want to talk to them about their propensity to steal cars.
I'm not, until they attempt to steal my car.
Okay.
At which point I will assume that they are a threat to my person and property and will shoot them accordingly.
Stealing cars, and I don't necessarily advocate killing people for any level of theft at all, but stealing cars is more of an attempted murder than it is a theft, unless you're stealing them like from the factory, and then it's more of a property crime. You're kind of screwed without a car. You can't get to work. You can't get to there's a lot, you can't live and function. So that's more of an attempted murder, which kind of merits an immediate response.
That is a slippery slope.
That sure is.
I would not want to go near. I know lots of people who don't have cars here in Keene, and they do not appear to be about to die.
Also, many people who have cars have insurance on those cars, and if my car was stolen, I would certainly be able to rent a car by the next day. And likely my insurance company would pay me for that rental at some point. I get
most
compensated
people
for
have collision at most, which doesn't cover theft.
I don't know what most means. All I can tell you is what it's like in my life. If somebody steals, I'm not going to shoot somebody over my car.
Okay, that's fine, but I mean it does depend. Geography kind of matters there too. You might be able to get around Keene, maybe, depending on what you have to do and where you have to be. but it's kind of it's an essential thing. It's more like food or insulin and less like a TV.
Yeah, but I don't want to get sidetracked on car theft in particular. What I want to talk about is what should happen to individuals specifically for different sorts of crimes.
We should forgive them.
Well, I don't forgive. You can't forgive somebody who doesn't even ask for forgiveness yet.
Forgiveness is not about the transgressor, it's about the victim. It doesn't matter if they ask for it or not. For the victim's own well-being, they need to forgive.
I'm fine with forgiveness of somebody you can't catch, but if you can catch them, we're going to have a long conversation about antisocial behavior. 855-450-3733.
Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,285, silver at $14.87, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,133. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the next major conflict may be won or lost in space.
My goal and the department's goal is to grow what we call our margin of dominance in space.
That's according to Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan, who made comments at the Space Symposium in Colorado Springs, Colorado, last week.
And our legacy systems are not designed to operate in this environment.
Shanahan said the U.S. military is not moving fast enough to stay ahead of its rivals China and Russia in the space race.
China is moving fast to grow their presence in space. Last year, their government put 38 rockets into orbit. This is more than double the 17 that our government launched.
Shanahan warned that both countries have already acquired weapon technologies with the intent to strike American spy satellites in the event of conflict. The acting defense secretary endorsed President Trump's Space Force, which he said will allow the military to combat hypersonic attacks more effectively. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices, with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Haymarket, Virginia Police Department has been met with strong opposition following their announcement that they will be enforcing the requirement for citizens to purchase a $15 sticker for their vehicle and the promise to steal money if they do not comply. The vehicle stickers are part of a new extortion program rolled out by county officials in Haymarket. The Free Thought Project reports the sticker is not an inspection sticker to prove that your lights and horn work. It's entirely arbitrary and designed solely for revenue collection purposes only. Haymarket Police Chief Kevin Land took to Facebook this week to warn the citizens that his officers, instead of solving and preventing crimes, will be patrolling the streets to extort people for not having the sticker. He threatened the citizens with a $35 fine. He then said that if the citizens choose to bring the ticket into the department and buy a sticker, he would forgive their debt. However, Police Chief Land said that, quote, if you do not do that within 2 weeks, we will take other corrective actions against you, end quote. The Facebook comments that accompanied the video were critical, if not downright negative, and the police department has since removed the video. Last week, Ecuador's government gravely undermined not only its national sovereignty, but international refugee and asylum laws by allowing UK police into its London embassy to arrest then Ecuadorian citizen, Ecuadorian asylee, and journalist Julian Assange. Minpress News reports that the shocking yet somewhat anticipated decision has shown that Ecuador's government, led by Lenin Moreno, is willing to play fast and loose with its domestic laws, as well as international law, if it stands to benefit Moreno and his increasingly unpopular administration, whose approval rating now hovers at around 30%. A key factor in Moreno's decision to revoke Assange asylum and Ecuadorian citizenship was alleged to be Moreno's rage at WikiLeaks for simply retweeting and spreading information regarding the burgeoning INA paper corruption scandal, which centers around an offshore bank account in Panama linked to Moreno and his family. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
For over 8 years, Gary Lightman has been the chief executive officer and guiding force behind tech company MediaMerge Incorporated. Lightman spoke to reporters this week about working his way up from his humble beginnings as a son of the previous CEO.
If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would someday be the CEO of my dad's company, I would have said, absolutely not. I mean, it feels like just yesterday that I started off as a senior executive at this company, and now I'm in charge of the place.
Lightman told reporters that he credits his continued success in business to a number of crucial moments in his career, including getting hired by his father's retirement, and a few lucky breaks in between.
I'm not going to lie to you, it was a lot of work. I was here for nearly 8 hours every day. Someone clearly saw my efforts and took notice. You know, a lot of young people ask for my advice, and I always say the same thing. Work hard, and it will lead to bigger and better things. That's what I tell my kids.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Kicking off the second hour. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
And Aria.
Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. You're certainly welcome to. That's why we call it Free Talk Live, because you're free to call in and talk live. And we're talking about a story. Apparently, the IMF has given Ecuador like $4.2 billion. And this happened right about the time that Julian Assange gets kicked out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And we're just kind of, speculating on that. But we got sidetracked. And this is, in Free Talk Live, we do get sidetracked. We talk about different issues. And Aria said she wanted to do away with jails.
Indeed.
100%.
Yes.
Melanie?
I'm close. I don't know what issues would necessarily be had in the absence of the state.
Okay.
I'm leaning strongly that way.
Okay. So I would not say this. I will, however, state that I don't think that prisons, which should be distinguished from jails, as in this, for the sake of this conversation, this isn't always true in America, but for the sake of this conversation, we'll say prison is for post-sentence punishment, and jail is for pre-sentence confinement. Right? So these two things exist for a reason, and the pre-sentence confinement exists for a reason, is because some people won't show up for court.
Well, the goal, right, is to alter the way people behave in society so that they're better people, they're better individuals. Prison is supposed to be a deterrent, jail is supposed to be a deterrent, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
The issue is it doesn't work. And it's been psychologically proven that rewarding good behavior is a far more effective way of affecting someone's behavior than punishing bad behavior.
I have read that that is the case.
So absent the state, you would have a free market. And what that effectively does in real terms is it rewards people who do things that society feels are good. It rewards people who are hard workers, who are honest, who have integrity.
Yep.
It rewards those
people. Do you think
people
jails and prisons are full of people who were hardworking, honest, and had integrity, but that somehow just ended up on the wrong side of the law and thrown in jail? Anyway, let me finish my statement before we go any further. So jails should be, or prisons, excuse me, should be for people who have committed violent crimes, in my opinion. People who are too dangerous to be with other people. Jails are for pre-sentence confinement, but that pre-sentence confinement should be very short. And I'm talking about in a span of weeks, and those weeks should be single digits, and they should be on the low side. If you can't put together a case against somebody in that period of time, then you shouldn't, speedy trial. It's guaranteed in the Constitution. You can't do that. They shouldn't have it. You
wouldn't even need jails for that unless you have a rampant crime rate, because you don't need a whole building that holds hundreds of thousands of people. You just need a couple of cells at the police department.
Well, the sheriff is traditionally the holder of the keys to the jail, and so the police department not so much. Usually they give them over to the sheriff, but that's the idea, is that a jail is just a place with a bunch of rooms. And I would say, yes, I'm talking about emptying these places out to the tune of 90%. I'm saying that prisons, by and large, have nonviolent offenders, and most of those nonviolent offenders are people who were doing drugs or something. If you legalize drugs and let people be responsible for their own actions, then you will have, A, the people who are in for drug offenses are all gone. B, the people who commit crimes to get drugs won't be there. What I mean is, or nearly won't be there. What I mean is there's very few people who are in prison right now for committing a crime to obtain alcohol. It's because alcohol is relatively cheap. You can beg the amount of money that it takes to get a fifth of cheap liquor. As a matter of fact, I was at the liquor store not too long ago. I saw they had a 1.75 liters, which is a lot of vodka. 1.75 liters for $9.95. If you go out with a sign that says, "I need $10 for liquor today," I'll bet you can get it by the end of the day. You might have to work, but, begging is working, but you can do it. So the same would be true for things like heroin and cocaine in a marketplace where these things had been legal for a long time because, aspirin isn't very expensive and it wouldn't be that hard to create drugs. So what I'm saying is that the people then who commit crimes to get drugs wouldn't be in prison either because, they wouldn't need to commit the crimes. So you would be down to stupid kids committing burglaries, just because, burglaries, no good reason.
Yeah.
You would have, and those kids can be reached, right? In a lot of cases, it's just catching them one time. But, if you're talking about a burglar, there's ways, there's progressions of sentences, of punishments that we could work on for burglaries.
What if when you say kids, you talk about people who are underage, you can solve that problem by kind of removing the concept of underage and letting when people are free reflect kind of their family culture and family income. So if you're 15, you're not sitting around bored, unable to go work and start your life just because, the state decided that shouldn't happen
Arbitrary
for another
number.
3 years.
Agreed. I think that would be helpful.
Well, I was working when I was 15.
I was working when I was 12,
I still took share in my fair part of teenage burglaries.
I sadly was
But you weren't
one of those
allowed
kids.
to move. You weren't allowed to get an apartment. You still had to live under someone else's, varying level of sanity or psychoticness kind of, at random. So I still don't think that solves it. So yeah, you can
I don't think it solves it, but I think it couldn't hurt, Melanie, right? Like the idea of making it so that young people can work and might have something to do rather than going and causing trouble. Yes, Aria, you and I did. But that doesn't mean that they all would. And
but I mean, the reasons we did it weren't because we were bored or anything like that. Well, I guess it was technically boredom because there was certainly no real financial gain or anything like that.
Right. Same here. I mean, I don't know what you'd call it, but I'd have to call it a burglary, sneaking into somebody's house. I didn't take anything from the house that I can recall anything of any import, but I went into, sometimes there'd be abandoned houses. It's Florida.
It was always abandoned houses.
People
Only
die.
Once did we go into a house where somebody lived, and we immediately left, and we never went into anybody else's house after that.
Yeah,
abandoned
that's scary.
or not. Yeah.
But, that's let's go on. So sex crimes need to be mentioned here. Sure. These are the crimes that become far more prolific as a percentage in countries like the Western European countries where they've kind of taken care of crime. One of the ways they've taken care of crime is by having better prisons, not by having no prisons, mind you. So they the sex offenders, because these people have an entirely different mindset than, say, a burglar or a murderer, they haven't managed to figure out how to disincentivize those folks nearly.
Well, what
as
are we
much.
calling a sex offender?
In the case of European crimes, you're not going to get in trouble, I don't believe, for peeing on the sidewalk or something like that. Okay. We're talking about a real sex offense. There's times like, an 18-year-old has a 15-year-old girlfriend or something. I'm not talking about that either. I don't think that that's a twisted mind. I think that that's a vulgarity of a calendar. When you put kids in a high school and say, no, you can't date, you've created a problem, a societal problem, right? So if you don't want the seniors dating the freshmen, don't put the seniors in the same school as the freshmen. That's all.
Well, I think the larger issue is that, so many people have an issue with the senior dating the freshman in the first place. I think they should work on that and their own issue with it, and rather than attempting to legislate their morality onto everyone else.
I don't really, one way or the other, it's not my really concern. What I hate the most is stupidity. And it is stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, stupid. If you think that you're going to send 18-year-olds, that's the max age for a senior, and 14-year-olds to the same school, and they're not going to date. Some of those 14-year-olds are going to say some of those 18-year-olds are attractive, and some of those 18-year-olds, by God, are going to say the same things. And that they're gonna date. They're in the same school. They should be able to date. You put them in the same room together. Stop making stupid decisions if you don't want stupid results. 855. It's not 844. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. It is, well, it's a live edition. If it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. That's what we bring to you here on Free Talk Live. Now, we have different hosts. I'm not working 7 nights a week, but we've got different folks. Like, for instance, it's Mark with you.
Melanie.
Aria.
Melanie, you're on 7 days a week. Aria, you're guest hosting at this point.
1 day a week. I'm on 1 day a week.
Yeah, I meant to say 1 day. One out of 7 days. I don't know. I was jumping ahead in my brain. I wasn't thinking when I said. Sorry about that. But, you know, we make it so that you can call in. If you hear Free Talk Live, we're live. Well, if you're hearing us, we're not necessarily live because we could be what they call delayed broadcast on a radio station near you. We do make it available for stations to play us whenever is convenient for them. And we do try to make it easy on stations. Thanks to all the stations, nearly 200 of them. The number's 855-450-3733. And we get off sidetracked in this conversation about sort of the criminal justice system. And I want to get everybody's opinion here to see if I can learn something. No, I don't. I just want to tell you you're wrong. To pretend that I want to learn something. But what I was saying is that first, I think that drugs should be legalized and people should be responsible for their own actions. And if they're not, they're going to be. Yeah, ultimately you'll be responsible for your own actions. The world is that way. But that nonviolent offenders like burglars and things like that, we have to come up with some system. I don't think those people should be thrown in prison right off. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think there has to be something for that burglar who just keeps on burglarizing and never quite learns. You got to have something for them, but I don't know if prison's the right thing. We had talked about sex offenders. Clearly, throwing sex offenders in with the regular prison population isn't doing anything for anybody other than creating creating a supply of what we called in prison punks, boys, sissies, these terminology that, sorry, Aria, I'm looking right at you when I'm saying this stuff.
It's all right. There are worse things to be called.
What, a punk, a boy, and a sissy?
Yeah.
Well, you prefer not to be called a boy, as I understand it.
I do prefer that.
Yeah. So, and I think that prisons should be reserved for violent crimes. I also think that the European models have demonstrated, this isn't even a debate any longer. Look, I vote Republican. I understand what these law and order people say. I get it. You don't want to create a place where people are comfortable. You want to put bad people in a bad place, treat them badly, and then they'll want to get out and they'll want to act good. Well,
that's not how people work.
You're wrong. And all you have to do, this is an issue of ignorance and training. All you have to do is look at what goes on in Europe. I'm not one of these people that says, let's do it like Europe does it. I'm not even that fond of Europe. But if you think that America does it right every time and Europe does it wrong every time, you're a partisan and your opinion stinks.
So I don't think that that's due entirely to their criminal justice system, because Europe also has differences with the U.S. as far as child abuse levels and unwanted child levels, because people in Europe are a lot more prone to use birth control than a lot of places in the U.S. So that has a lot to do with it, too. You can't just say, if we hug all the criminals, they'll quit being criminals. Although either system you use, prison is a very expensive proposition, and why would anyone pay for that?
I'm not going to say that if we hug all the criminals, there won't be criminals immediately, but eventually, I think that it would be an adequate solution to the problem without committing aggression against anyone.
Well, putting somebody in prison is an aggression.
It is. It's
a response to aggression.
It is violent retribution. It's vengeance.
Okay, aggression is, in the libertarian sphere, is defined as an initiation of force.
Yes.
So if
after the fact, you're initiating it against them.
What's that?
Retaliation is initiation.
See, I don't agree. I think retaliation is retaliation. It's a different form of force.
I think that's an arbitrary temporal distinction, because then, okay, so is 5 years retaliation? I think most people would say yes. Well, what about 1 month? Well, what about, this was 1 second? That temporal difference is I don't see how that's morally relevant.
So how long it takes in order to respond to the crime?
Yeah.
So
it can have practical effects, but I don't see how because it's not... Nothing's instantaneous, because you can't move that fast as a human being.
Sure.
Or even as a beam of light, you can't move that fast. There's going to be lag. You're arguing over a moral difference among time differences in lag.
So what I would be saying is that people who are violent, have shown a propensity for violence, are more likely to be violent in the future unless they have some kind of life-changing circumstance. If they have the life-changing circumstance, maybe that circumstance occurred in prison. It certainly did for me. Now, although I do not consider myself to be guilty of what I was charged with and went to prison for, that doesn't change the fact that I definitely matured, I definitely grew up, and I definitely had life-changing circumstances when I was in prison.
Well, most people do between the ages of 17 and 20-something.
That's a really relevant point, is that if you released everybody out of prison at age 35, then the likelihood of them returning tends to be quite low, especially if those people have had training and these sorts of things. And in the European model, again, I'm going back, you'll find that they get treated with respect while they're in prison. They aren't, yelled at and called names and all the things that go on in American prisons. Believe me, I know. Or at least I know how it used to be, and I suspect it hasn't changed one whit. I think it's probably a more dangerous place than it was when I was even there, although it, some would argue. that these that ultimately they get training, they get opportunities. There wasn't really much of that at all, and the prisons were stressed. There were too many people there. They have one-person cells, their own little room where they don't have to deal with a roommate and that kind of thing. All these things, I think, give an opportunity for somebody to grow and adjust and change their ways of doing things. I'm not looking at this from a moral standpoint of how quickly can I give retribution or whatever. I'm looking at this from a practical standpoint of people who are a danger to other people need to be separated from society while they're, changed, or if they haven't been killed while they're being a threat to somebody else. Is that what you guys are advocating for here? Is this basically, if we just shot them all, then we wouldn't have to deal with it?
Yeah, so if it's
to an extent.
Yeah.
For the most part, if it's a crime, if you consistently rob people in the absence of the state, or even just in the absence of homicide laws, at some point, you're going to stop robbing people because you're dead. So
yeah, right.
That kind of solves that problem.
All the people that have been shot by people while they were robbing, all the robbers that have been shot by people while robbing have committed no more robberies. Right. I mean, it's 100% true. I don't feel bad for robbers. It's just that I know that people can do bad things and then change their minds. And then
they can, and that's why I'm not a fan of the death penalty and things like that, because it denies those people the right to have those changes of heart.
And what I would say is where do those people decide to have those changes? Because a lot of people need consequences to actions in order to decide that those actions aren't worth committing, and decide to change their ways. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You're welcome to answer that question. Free Talk Live.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
You've been hearing Dr. Wallach talking about 90 essential nutrients, keeping the body healthy. GCNteam.com now has Beyond Tangy Tangerine tablets, 60 plant-derived minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, packed in a powerful tablet. But that's not it. 160,000 auric points, a knockout punch to free radicals. Call 877-878-4203 or go to GCNteam.com. That's 877-878-4203.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
And Aria.
Number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. If you invest money, well, even if you don't invest money, what happens to the stock market affects you. I have to, I manage money for an organization, and that organization, I have to pay attention to these things. We've had a pretty good run in the stock market over the last many months. I think it's the longest bull run in U.S. history. What that means is, at some point, it stops. When the bull run stops, then the bear run starts. When the bear run starts, this tends to historically be true, is that metals, precious metals, tend to do well. Maybe not immediately, but as the bear run increases, you tend to see an uptick in precious metals. If you believe that that's going to be the case this next go-around, I kind of do, then you're going to want to be educated in investments in silver and gold. Silver specifically regarding the Morgan Report. If you go to themorganreport.com, you can get the work there of David Morgan. He's an expert in silver and tangible investments. He's been putting out a newsletter for many years, and as a matter of fact, he does even personal guidance. You can get his premium newsletters, whatever it is. He's got it. Whatever level of guidance you might need, he's got it. Go to themorganreport.com. I have spoken to David Morgan, and I do consider him to be an expert in this field. And he's got my, I'd be comfortable listening to what he has to say on many of these topics. Themorganreport.com. There's also a telephone number there you can get from the website. I could give it to you here, but the chances are good you're jogging or in the car, these sorts of things. So it's easier to remember, themorganreport.com. If you don't remember it now, you'll certainly remember it when the stock market crashes and you wish that you could have some place to put your money. Wouldn't it be better to put your money in some precious metals now before the crash occurs? Themorganreport.com. We were talking here on the air. It's Mark with you. Did I already do introductions? Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. We were talking on the air about sort of what to do with people who have committed crimes as they exist today. Now, I have laid out, you guys, if you're just tuning in and you haven't heard this, you can go to the archives at archives.freetalklive.com. We usually put the show up within a couple of hours after it is complete, and then you can hear everything that was said, but I'm not going to recap everything. Basically, I went through what I would do with certain classifications of crimes. And y'all, Melanie and Aria here, my two southern women, you have different ideas. You think I'm wrong about incarceration and things like that, and that's fine. I want to hear what you've got to say. So I'm going to start. Melanie, you want to start with you?
Yeah. So
I want to start with nonviolent offenders like burglars. Somebody who, I've got a friend.
I don't know if I agree that burglary is nonviolent.
All right. Well, what are you going to do with burglars?
When you find them, you shoot them while they're burglaring.
You're going to shoot somebody who's in your house taking a television set that they're going to pawn for $100?
Well, you don't know that they're not going to shoot you.
Yeah.
Burglars are
That's
very
why
unlikely to have
it's not necessarily
guns.
nonviolence.
Most people who are in prison for armed burglary stole the gun that they found in the house. They didn't come to the house with a gun. That's not to say they couldn't shoot you, but they're not likely to have done it. And I always have felt like that's a crime where the spirit of the law is not being honored. But
yeah,
nonetheless,
I don't feel like that's a risk that's properly allocated to the victim. I don't think that almost any risk is a risk that's properly allocated to the victim.
I agree with you.
So you either have a horrible society where people are doing this thing all the time, in which case you need to change the way you raise people and the way you treat people and the way you react to things and the way people act, and you're not going to solve that by expensive, inefficient jail. I mean, like, just warehousing people is kind of a grossly inefficient thing to do.
Yes.
Or you don't have that kind of society, and so you have your outliers, and so if they're in the middle of violently aggressing against someone, you can kill them. If they're not, then maybe you
call burglary violently aggressing because they're stealing people's property, and their property used to be, the property is evidence of work that they have created.
Burglary is too vague. I mean, it's up to the victim to look at the guy and decide if they think that they're a threat.
I can see you've already gendered the criminal. Go ahead. It probably
I don't know
is.
that guy is a gender-specific term.
Oh, yeah.
If I wake up, though, and I see somebody in my house, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, maybe they're not armed.
What about?
I'm going to shoot first and ask questions later.
Right. Well, I guess that's what you're going to do. I certainly would not do that. Now, then again,
really?
No, I would not.
If you woke up and there was somebody in your house, you would not.
You have a kid who you don't necessarily know where they are at this point.
Right. So I would. First off, I've already committed myself to not.
Well, yeah, and I guess Mark doesn't necessarily have this option, but in Ancapistan, where there are no gun laws.
Well, there's more options than you might think. I'm not the. Although it is illegal for me to carry a gun, and it is not illegal for me to pick up a gun in a life-threatening situation and use it. It's not illegal for Mrs. Edge to own a gun either. So it's not like there's not guns somewhere that could be used, potentially. And there are actually some really good air rifles out there, too. And that's legal, as far as I can tell, in the United States for me to own.
Okay, yeah, but so if I can assess that it's some 12-year-old trying to steal Pokemon cards or whatever,
yeah,
they don't need to die. I might need to smack their parents or something, but they don't need to die. If it's somebody who's, I can't tell what they're trying to do, and it's dark and my baby's in the other room,
yeah,
that's not my problem.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to stir up Mama Bear. But I wouldn't presume if I saw one person that there was a second. That's one thing, right? So I don't need to,
I wasn't even necessarily making that assumption. It's like you came in and started moving stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not going to make assumptions about what you did and didn't move.
Sometimes people stumble into houses drunk. These things happen too.
And they shoot the occupant.
What's that?
Yeah,
they shoot the occupant and say it was dark and I thought it was my
apartment. That's the risk you take when you wander around outside drunk. I mean,
they sometimes do that. You're right. All right. So next question. You've got your bloodlust slaked here. You've shot some burglars. Now on to DUI. What do we do with people who have gone on the road and inadvertently played chicken with everybody who's on the road?
Same solution.
Shoot them?
No. No, same overarching solution. Shooting them is a means to an end.
What's that end?
Solving the problem.
Okay.
Of burglars, right?
Solving the problem of DUI people is shooting them.
No, you can ban them from the roads because the roads are private at this point.
Death is ultimately the solution to that problem. Eventually, they're going to wreck and kill themselves.
But I don't want them to wreck and kill themselves into me.
I would prefer that not happen as well. But if the alternative is to aggress against them for doing something that I don't approve of or that I think is reckless, I would choose to be run over.
So you want to get rid of jails because you are philosophically against jails, but you're okay with people just getting back in cars, back in a car after they've been caught over and over again with a DUI and not giving them a punishment?
I've met many people who are capable of driving drunk without causing an accident.
Sure. I'm not. Look,
those people probably won't get caught, at least not in any kind of reasonable system. So if you're driving exactly like everybody else, you don't really stand out. If you're driving recklessly...
But you're going to get a wreck at some point, just because people get in wrecks at some point.
If roads are private, and they would be, and I ban drunk driving from my road, or, Easy Pass Corporation bans drunk driving on their road.
As they would.
Now you're trespassing, and you can remove that person, and if they keep doing it, or even on a first offense, if that's what you want to do, you can ban them from the road, or ban them from driving on the road, at least.
Yeah, and if they
what do they do if they don't abide by the ban?
Now they're trespassing, and you can remove them.
Like shoot them? How do you? You could remove
shooting
them
into
before.
traffic probably not the best idea, but you could remove them.
You're just talking about continually removing people, though. That's no solution. 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live. Love to hear your thoughts.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. This topic here of what we should do with the do-batters has really churned up the studio here. The number, 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
Aria.
And real quick, before we go to the calls here, I want to tell you about Freedom Fest. It's the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. Undisputed. Freedom Fest theme this year is the Wild West. Was it a time of liberty and opportunity or lawlessness and violence? You're going to determine this by the end of Freedom Fest. They've got great guests, big-time guests. Penn Jillette, doesn't get much bigger than that. John Mackey, the former CEO of Whole Foods. Candace Owens, her name's on everybody's lips these days. Kevin O'Leary and Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank. Well, they got TV stars. What do you want? Stephen Moore, now appointed to the Federal Reserve Board. Grover Norquist, greatest libertarian activist in the nation. The guy who sits on the board of Taxpayer of the U.S. or something. I don't remember what the organization is exactly, but he's doing great work. All kinds of folks, libertarians, conservatives, liberals, people just open-minded and trying to find solutions. They're mingling together to hear real debates and share real solutions. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL. Get your tickets now. We're going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. freedomfest.com/FTL. Plus, it's Vegas, people. It's in Vegas. You can't get much better than that. If you are not yet convinced, go to freedomfest.com/FTL anyway, and you get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz is the only place you're going to get these. Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, John Mackey, all for free. freedomfest.com/FTL. When you buy your ticket, use coupon code FTL50, save $50. Coupon code FTL50 at freedomfest.com/FTL. Let's go to Jeanette here, calling in from Chattanooga. Jeanette, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi.
Hi. What's on your mind?
Number one, if you're breaking into my house, you deserve to be shot.
Jeanette's okay. So at this point, we're 3 for 3 on the ladies. Gentlemen,
that's my house.
Yes, you're right.
You have no business in my house, and you can't stumble in it drunk because the doors are locked. So you deserve to be shot.
There you go.
Number 2, if you're drinking and driving, I believe you should give a person a chance. Put them in rehab. If they don't change and they come out and do it again, then they need to serve their time in jail, because I'd rather see someone in jail than to be out here killing someone else innocent on the road.
I think they should be completely responsible for whatever their actions are. If their first time drinking and driving results in them harming somebody, they should they should have to pay restitution until that person's made whole. And that could be definitely a long time with medical costs these days.
Definitely. Number 3, if you're a sex offender, you need to cut it off and hang them.
You're going to hang them and cut it off? Why not just cut it off? And let them...
I'm going to cut it off first, let them suffer, and then hang them.
Yep, Jeanette,
they don't deserve to walk the face of the earth.
Yeah, and if by sex offender we mean what a normal human being thinks of in their mind when you say sex offender, then yes.
If you're abusing a child sexually.
Well, okay, so say a child rapist
10 down,
should have it cut off.
10, 12 down. I think it should be cut off and hang them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I still would not.
Okay, well, tell me what you would do here in this circumstance, Aria. I'm very curious.
I would shun them. I would not befriend them.
Oh, my goodness.
I would let free market activism take its toll without aggressing against
them.
So
other people would shoot them.
So you're going to let them keep abusing
other people
children.
wouldn't shoot them. They would be unable to get jobs and things like that. They would be unable to be productive members of society until they reform themselves.
You don't come back from
People
that.
Don't forgive that, though.
And then
That's why I advocate forgiveness, in fact.
They're going to have to rob someone before they,
Change
before
their
they
mind.
get forgiven and repent. So that's just shooting them with extra steps, really.
Do you know what abusing children does to a child?
Probably nothing good.
Well, the trans chick certainly didn't have an easy childhood.
You want someone to be forgiven who has messed up a child for life.
I do indeed.
For life? No. Sorry.
Well, as someone who has been messed up for life by various child abuses and the murder of my mother, I would say that I get to say whether or not a person is going to be permanently messed up for life and whether or not they can
At
yield
least in your
anything
circumstance,
good
I would
from
say
that.
that's true.
I can say the same. And they need to have it cut off and hung.
Well, I don't want to get into the victim, Schwanz measuring contest, but I think that this is a hot topic, Aria, and I think it's a lot to ask from society to forgive somebody who has done, a terribly reprehensible act.
But it's the most critical to forgive people.
I want to say this about sex offenses, though, that part of the damage of sex offenses is the things that society says about it, right? Like, Jeanette, wouldn't you agree that part of it is we say that this is terrible and it ruins the kids for life, so it's terrible and it ruins the kids for life? That if we perhaps had a different view about it, and I'm not saying we should, I'm just saying that other societies do. Right? There are societies out there where adults and kids probably do awful things that you and I don't really understand.
I mean, are these mentally stable societies, though?
I don't know. I don't live in them. I tend to err on the side of Jeanette here, but
if we're calling them mentally stable or mentally unstable, I mean, who are we to enforce our values on them by demonizing them for having different standards than we do? That's just Dunning-Krugerism.
I don't know what Dunning-Krugerism means exactly.
It means judging their standards by our own standards when they have a different set of standards.
I don't know how people are going to judge standards by any standards but their own.
They don't have standards.
That's why it's Dunning-Krugerish.
Okay. Jeanette, thank you for the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I mean, we definitely live in a messed up world. But
it's not going to get any better by, doing kids.
It is. It will. No. I was not saying it is to that. I did not expect that to go that direction.
Right.
It will be made better, though, with more forgiveness and more love and more peace and more compassion.
Yeah, so there's a certain level of messed up that I'm willing to tolerate from a person just by the fact of they live in a messed up world. But most people don't rape children, so that in and of itself tells me that that's not just the world doing that to you. That was you. That was you and you alone. And you got to go because we can't tolerate that.
Well, I'm not going to allow any person to escape responsibility for their actions. I'm certainly not going to let the burglar or the drug addict or the child rapist go, oh, well, I'm just a victim of society myself. No, you made your decisions. You acted as an individual. You're responsible for those choices.
But you're saying that the consequences is that we all forgive them and...
I'm saying we should.
Well, so you were saying that if somebody's caught in the commission of an act, if they're doing something that's threatening, they can be shot and killed.
Yes.
Like you were just saying, I'm a shoot a burglar in my house.
In self-defense, not retaliation.
You're calling it self-defense. I mean, at this point, it's...
Well, the difference may not be a passage of time. The difference is that the act is ongoing.
Okay, right. I get it. It's in the commission of the crime.
Yes.
The problem is that the kid is dealing with issues of authority. They're also unlikely to be armed because who gives a 45 to a 9-year-old, right?
Yeah.
I've had a 9-year-old. He's 11 now, but I wouldn't hand him a gun. I mean, I do take him out and, he has shot a gun, but he does it under supervision. He doesn't get to carry one on his hip.
Right.
Well,
I'm not expecting the 9-year-old to be able to defend themselves against.
So what you're saying is that you're comfortable with a situation where a defenseless, unprotected person can be harmed, but when you're in a threatened, even a minor threat of a burglary, somebody's in your house.
I don't look.
You're comfortable with shooting them.
Let me clarify that. I'm not going to stop to assess the threat to determine whether or not my life is in danger by this person when my life could be in danger by this person. That's not
Well, I see where you're coming from. You're saying that if the threat is occurring and ongoing, it's okay to use a weapon to defend yourself. But you're saying
I would love for a 9-year-old to be able to shoot a rapist that is trying to rape them. I would love that.
But
absolutely.
But you know that that's a highly unpractical situation.
But is that a result of culture?
No, it's a result of age.
Sometimes it's a result of strength.
Of lack of training. Because when I was 9-year-old, I absolutely would have been responsible enough to hold a gun.
You're probably a very rare 9-year-old, and I support the 9-year-olds that are responsible enough to carry a gun.
It's not about age; it's about maturity.
I don't know that most 9-year-olds are strong enough to pull the trigger on a gun that would be high enough caliber to actually do anything.
Well, I mean, 22s kill more people in America than any other caliber every year.
I mean, you can drop somebody with a 9mm. You can at least make them stop raping you.
Right? Yeah, I think that just firing the gun ought to take care of that. Everybody's deaf now. Right?
Part of my problem is I don't consider someone who has in the past raped children walking around to be a non-threat. Like, just because they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Like, they're not going to sit there and tell you they're going to do it again.
But see, you're applying different standards because of this one thing they did that you really, really disapprove of.
Yes, I do.
Versus somebody who has a DUI or something like that, you know, to be doing it again or is going to be likely to do it again. You're applying totally different standards there based on your own moral values, and I'm refusing to do that. I'm saying I don't approve of it in any direction.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. We'll still take your calls on this. 855-450-FREE.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Hey guys, it's Scott Bauer here, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Are you looking for a super hot stock tip? Here at Prosper, we are always looking for exciting opportunities in the markets. And right now, all my students are salivating over this stock we are watching. In fact, I've got this hot stock written down right here, and I'm about to text it to you for free. I just need to know where to send it. Simply text HOT to 48542, and I'll text it to you instantly. How do I know this stock is so hot? Well, I'm a former CBOE market maker for Amazon Options, former vice president of Goldman Sachs, and I have over 25 years of professional trading experience. I'm telling you, this stock is hot. But be warned, the stock may move soon, so you need to claim it before it does. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Text HOT to 48542, and I'll text you this hot stock instantly. Message and data rates may apply.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,285, silver at $14.87, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,133. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the next major conflict may be won or lost in space.
My goal and the department's goal is to grow what we call our margin of dominance in space.
That's according to Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan, who made comments at the Space Symposium in Colorado Springs, Colorado, last week.
And our legacy systems are not designed to operate in this environment.
Shanahan said the U.S. military is not moving fast enough to stay ahead of its rivals China and Russia in the space race.
China is moving fast to grow their presence in space. Last year, their government put 38 rockets into orbit. This is more than double the 17 that our government launched.
Shanahan warned that both countries have already acquired weapon technologies with the intent to strike American spy satellites in the event of conflict. The acting defense secretary endorsed President Trump's Space Force, which he said will allow the military to combat hypersonic attacks more effectively. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices, with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Haymarket, Virginia Police Department has been met with strong opposition following their announcement that they will be enforcing the requirement for citizens to purchase a $15 sticker for their vehicle and the promise to steal money if they do not comply. The vehicle stickers are part of a new extortion program rolled out by county officials in Haymarket. The Free Thought Project reports the sticker is not an inspection sticker to prove that your lights and horn work. It's entirely arbitrary and designed solely for revenue collection purposes only. Haymarket Police Chief Kevin Land took to Facebook this week to warn the citizens that his officers, instead of solving and preventing crimes, will be patrolling the streets to extort people for not having the sticker. He threatened the citizens with a $35 fine. He then said that if the citizens choose to bring the ticket into the department and buy a sticker, he would forgive their debt. However, Police Chief Land said that, quote, if you do not do that within 2 weeks, we will take other corrective actions against you, end quote. The Facebook comments that accompanied the video were critical, if not downright negative, and the police department has since removed the video. Last week, Ecuador's government gravely undermined not only its national sovereignty, but international refugee and asylum laws by allowing UK police into its London embassy to arrest then-Ecuadorian citizen, Ecuadorian asylee, and journalist Julian Assange. Minpress News reports that the shocking yet somewhat anticipated decision has shown that Ecuador's government, led by Lenin Moreno, is willing to play fast and loose with its domestic laws, as well as international law, if it stands to benefit Moreno and his increasingly unpopular administration, whose approval rating now hovers at around 30%. A key factor in Moreno's decision to revoke Assange asylum and Ecuadorian citizenship was alleged to be Moreno's rage at WikiLeaks for simply retweeting and spreading information regarding the burgeoning INA paper corruption scandal, which centers around an offshore bank account in Panama linked to Moreno and his family. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Congress today passed a landmark Social Security reform bill they estimate could save the troubled program billions. The so-called Grab Life by the Balls bill includes provisions to cut the cost of cigarettes in half, outlaws helmets, and adjusts the CDC's recommended amount of sleep from 8 hours a night to when you're dead. The bill's short-term initiatives aim to immediately cut Social Security costs in half by replacing senior citizens' monthly checks with vouchers for grain, alcohol, and extreme sports.
I got this coupon to motocross over a canyon. Better do my part to help the deficit.
Supporters in Congress say the cost will be offset by the so-called pussy tax on products such as sweaters, vegetables, hand soap, and flu shots.
America, would you rather die old, broke, and forgotten, or die a motherfucking legend?
The new program follows in the footsteps of the Life is a Cartoon Medicare campaign, which encourages seniors to run full speed off of cliffs and smoke sticks of dynamite.
This is the Onion News Network.
That's right, it is Free Talk Live, and you're welcome to call in and talk freely here. It's Free Talk Live after all. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
Aria.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Let's jump right into the calls. We got Wesley here on the line. Wesley, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha. What's on your mind?
Okay, hey, I was just listening to the broadcast, and you guys were talking about violent criminals versus nonviolent criminals.
Yep.
And prison sentence or reform. I'm speaking from personal experience, and
You've been to prison?
I am ex-con.
You're an ex-con?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, jail, prison, and stuff. To be honest, I was running around in jail and prison doing the same thing I was doing in the streets. I was, loved getting in trouble, loved to fight. What actually changed me and changed my life around is when my youngest brother, his son, was born 2.5 months premature. So I was supposed to finish my 6-month sentence and be out at the time of my nephew's birth.
And you missed it.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I missed it. That I literally, that was the first time in my life I heard people say, oh, they were so upset, so sick, they couldn't eat, they couldn't sleep. I had never experienced it until that moment in my life.
The consequences finally hit you.
That changed me.
Yeah.
It did.
How old were you at the time?
I was 22.
22? Okay. And, I think that those are the things that happen. Go ahead.
I was selling weed, marijuana to my friends. It was a nonviolent crime. I got caught, and I had to go to jail and spend my time in there. But, that's still stuff. It's on my record, and it haunts me 11 years later.
So you were convicted of a nonviolent crime, but you were, you like to fight and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in that environment and that stuff,
Let me ask you this too. While you were in, did you learn things about how to be a better criminal, like say how to hotwire a car or how to rob a bank, or did you get advice from other criminals on how to commit crime?
Absolutely. There's a saying that jail and prison is a college for criminals. And that's literally what it is. I mean, you go in there and there's guys who have 2-3 life sentences who'd been out, 10 years doing these things. They go in and they tell you how to do it. You give them some commissary, you look, you see their records, their papers and stuff, and you learn so much more stuff. And if you don't have, there's people that's been in there 20 years. They might have kids, but they've never met their kids. Or, their mother or father could be sick of cancer and die.
Yep.
And they literally get institutionalized, and they have nothing to lose, In prison and jail, they're important. Out here, what we call the free world, they're not. They want to get out and work and earn a living for their children or for their family,
But they can't.
But the thing is that it haunts us years later. Like, I'm trying to get a governor's pardon now.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that only happens every 2 years. There's no guarantee. There's no set match of how many pardons you will get. I'm trying to get one through the circuit courts, the district courts and stuff. That's hard too. It has to go through the sheriff and then your district, district courts, your district judges.
Yeah, it's a big process to try to go get a pardon or get your record expunged or whatever happens in your particular district.
Exactly.
Especially
it
isn't easy.
The difference between expunged and sealed.
What is happening as a result of your record? What do you believe you aren't allowed to do because you've got a felony for selling pot?
Everything from places that you to live, to lease, to rent, apartments, homes, houses, duplexes, work. I mean, it can even. I have been turned down from actually Walmart Corporation
for a job.
The regional manager came in. Yes, told me I could not work in the tire and lube department.
So you couldn't change people's oil because you had sold pot 11 years ago.
Exactly.
Right, and I this absolutely happens, and for whatever reason, the way it is in the United States is it's okay to hate somebody because they had a conviction, God knows how long ago, and even if that hate results in negative things for society. so what? It's it's worth doing. I don't know. I mean, it's completely insane. This whole the process. Now, are you telling me that? Are you telling these people at these apartments, yes, I'm a convicted felon, and when they're asking?
Apartment
Usually,
background
because
checks.
you fill an application out, and they will do a credit check, or some of them do, criminal background checks. And I mean, I've always been honest and truthful, and it's helped me for the most part, I think, in life. But even if there's somebody there, whether it be a potential employer or a potential landlord, they say, "Oh, you're a great person. I like you. Yeah, I think we can do this." And then they ask you about your background, just simple down the list stuff, and they say, "Okay, any criminal record, history, anything?" And you're like, "Yeah, I do have one." Then they look at you and say, "Really? I can't believe somebody like you."
Yep. That's what they say.
And then you see it in their eyes, and they look at the paper, and they kind of get a little, yeah, we'll have to check, and we'll give you a call back.
Sure. And then they talk to their boss, and their boss hasn't met you, and so their boss just says, "No, it's not worth the risk," because to their mind, it's not worth the risk. I'm going to tell you this, Wesley. I spent 8.5 years in prison for a crime that, I didn't commit, but I was certainly out there doing a bunch of dumb stuff, so I don't call myself falsely convicted. I'm just saying that, I did a bunch of stuff, and so the punishment, isn't necessarily exactly right for that crime. Things could have been different. Doesn't really make a difference. But when I got out, I decided these people aren't going to understand my explanations, and I'm just going to make it easy on them and lie about my record. I'm just not going to tell that truth.
Yeah.
And as a result, I was able to I believe I was turned down for one job one time where they checked. I've never had a rent situation, but I haven't rented a lot of places, so I can't really speak to that very
Every
much.
apartment complex I've ever rented from or even looked into runs background checks.
Yeah, but a lot of times you can rent a house from somebody and then have roommates, and then you don't have as much of a problem. Or you can rent from the roommate, and you definitely don't have a problem.
True.
So, Wesley, I wish you the best with the governor's pardon thing. If it works out, I want to hear about it. Please call me back and let me know.
Absolutely.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you, guys.
855-450-3733. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. America, you have a guy, a nonviolent offender, mildly violent. He was like to fight and stuff, he said, who has been taught how to commit crimes in jail and prison. Do you want to send people to a place where they get instruction on how to be a better criminal? I believe there's an institutional problem with jails and prisons in the United States, and they need to fundamentally be changed. And that you can't get that done by doing the same thing over and over again. And we've already tried, let's treat them as bad as possible, as bad as legally possible. Like, that's what we're doing right now in America. There is a jail or a prison right now in America that's treating somebody as bad as legally possible. And it isn't
many times beyond what's legally
allowable. It happens all the time. We know that it's as bad as legally possible because they're getting caught all the time for violations. Now, you don't hear about it in the news because, well, Mr. and Mrs. America doesn't want to hear about these violations.
Yeah, they're in favor most of the time.
Right. They're much more afraid, want to listen to the evening news when, I listened to the evening news for the first time in years this weekend. And
they know what's going on.
Just as horrifying as it always was. So, this person got shot in this neighborhood, and that person got shot in that neighborhood. It's all the same stuff. Same as it was. It's always the same news report. I mean, it might as well be a repeat.
Believe it.
Yeah. So,
they know these abuses are happening. They just want the luxury of being able to turn a blind eye to it.
Sure, they're not paying attention. All I'm saying is that there's going to have to be a fundamental change. That fundamental change isn't going to occur. It's not going to be cheap. Now, I'm sorry to say the Democrats have done a certain amount of research, and they found that the $10,000 you save, you spend on school programs today results in $100,000 savings in the future. And I think we have to agree that that's true. That there's, we live in the real world. That's a fact. 855-450-3733.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It is the this live edition. You're welcome to call in. And if it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we're live. That's what Free Talk Live does. So the number is 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
Aria.
855-450-3733. I was just told this just in from Ian here, who's now sitting in the studio. That we apparently are no longer considered mature content on DLive. So dlive.com, you go to dlive.freetalklive.com, and you can see our stream there. Follow us, please, by God. DLive's now become very important because PewDiePie, the #1 streamer in the world, has now switched over. So, Free Talk Live switched the same day. So see if we can get some. And it's been a pretty positive situation, except for the whole mature content thing. We got labeled mature content because apparently they consider anybody who wants to talk about issues mature. Maybe they consider us boring, but that's for the listener to determine.
It may be back after tomorrow night.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe we need to make 2 streams. One's the mature stream and one's the non-mature stream. I don't know. We'll figure that out as time goes by. But, anyway, check us out. It's DLive. Ian's written something down here. DLive.lrn.fm. It's called DLive TV. DLive.tv. DLive.lrn.fm, I guess, is the stream, because Ian hasn't spent any time putting it on DLive.freetalklive.com. This would be a simple act for him to do. He's sitting right over there doing God knows what. Might as well get to work. Let's go to Gene, the Christian anarchist, calling in on the Discord lines. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to how clear he sounds. Gene, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
And yes, guys carries no gender in this context. Now, there's a couple of words that carry no gender. Guys is one and man is another one.
I disagree entirely. I gotta go with Mark on this one. Gals is obviously a gender term. So is
gals
guys.
Has gender. Man is mankind.
It is
and carries no gender.
Man is absolutely gendered.
It depends on the context.
I would go with that.
It doesn't, and that's a remnant of that same old chauvinism and misogyny that's been carried throughout the English language for hundreds of years.
Now you've just caused me to switch sides.
Mankind does not.
Hold on, dude. Just like they were always like, oh no, you should write he when you don't know the gender of the person you're talking about.
Absolutely.
That's how we ended up with guy. That's how we ended up with man. That's how we ended up with all of these masculine words being used to refer to everybody.
Agreed.
It's just a remnant of that.
Masculine is the gender that you use in English if you do not know the gender of the person of whom you speak. And the reason I would say that's true.
That was archaic.
Well, look, I'm looking for things that make my sentences easier.
Sure.
Right? Like I would rather say the black guy crossed the street than the African-American gentleman of sub-Saharan African descent who's non-gender binary pronoun. Like, I just don't, like, ladies and gentlemen, screw you and your pronouns and all this stuff. I'm going to do my best here, but no. I say he because I don't want to have to say he or she, because now you've taken one syllable and made it into 3.
Now, I see I buzzed everybody here, but that's not really what I called about.
I'm mad, and I'm not giving up.
Anyways, when I use the terms, they carry no gender. So there, if it's an anarchist society, I get to make my own rules. Those are my rules.
That's not really how languages work, but okay.
I live by my rules. You live by your rules. But anyways, the real issue I called you about is that you guys, all 3 of you, do not seem to understand what a true liberty society looks like. One that has 100% liberty and 0% authority. So in that society, and we don't have one yet, and I don't know if we're ever gonna get there.
I don't know.
But in such a society, you don't get to make rules as to what punishment is for what crime. In a true liberty society, if somebody commits a crime, the first person to get to them is the one that writes the rules on their punishment. Now, if I get to them first, and I happen to belong to a group of people...
By what arrogance do you set yourself up to be judge, jury, and executioner for people?
Let me finish.
No, that question deserves being answered.
We can get into my arrogance in a minute, but let me finish my statement. If you live in a society that's truly liberty and no rules, and somebody commits a crime and I don't like what they did, then I will do what I want to do to them. Now, if I belong to a group of individuals who happen to have funded a prison, and I want to stick that person in that prison, which I have partially funded along with a group of other people, then that's what I'm going to do with that person. If, on the other hand, I just happen to have a gun and I want to shoot them, I will shoot that person.
You call yourself Christian anarchist, correct?
Yes. Now, there's
Christ
there's
is looking down on you and shaking your head right now?
Listen.
Because that's absolutely appalling.
Yeah, that is appalling. And I didn't say that I would do that. I'm saying
you literally just said you would do that.
Said he was the first one to get there. It's a
I said if. Did you hear the if there?
I
So
did.
listen.
So if
this
the
is
situation were true and we were in a true libertarian society, you would be people's judge, jury, and executioner.
I am trying to explain to you what the society is like, not necessarily what I would do. Now, I don't belong to a group that has funded a prison, so I'm not going to put them in prison. I don't necessarily I'm not necessarily going to shoot them. I'm saying that in this kind of society, you will be able to do any of those things. Those will all be on the table because nobody's writing the rules. Now, if I shoot that person and I killed them, then I have repercussions to bear as well. The repercussions in a liberty society are what keeps people in line. If I shoot that person and their daddy don't like it, he's going to come and shoot me. So you have a
trail of
you have a
vengeance rather
reason-
than forgiveness is what you have.
You have a reason to be peaceful in a society with no rules. You see what I'm saying?
I
And
get it.
if
I can't say it sounds very
Okay.
attractive. It sounds like a
Now,
bunch of
if you
Hatfield
say-
McCoy stuff.
No, it will work itself out in the end. Now, if you want somebody to be in prison for a certain crime, then you fund the prison. I'm not going to fund that prison.
And
If
prisons
you
are
don't-
highly expensive and inefficient, so I don't think anybody's going to do that. I could be wrong. It just seems unlikely to me.
So that is the point that I'm trying to get at. In a true liberty society, you don't get to write the rules as to what somebody's punishment is. I don't care what you think. If you think it's not good to use the death penalty, then fine. Don't exercise the death penalty on people. But if somebody else thinks that the death penalty is appropriate and they want to exercise that death penalty, there is no rule to stop them.
So,
Now,
Gene,
if they exercise the death penalty and somebody else comes back for revenge, that's on them.
Gene, so when I talk about this stuff, I only talk about steps in the right direction. You rarely
Oh, I would
find
like
me discussing, well, this would happen in this fictitious world that I don't know that I'm going to get to. Now, I appreciate you calling in. I'm not saying you shouldn't have. I'm just saying that anything you heard from me generally is talking about how to make things better and more just. Not how to make things, how things would happen in a fictitious freedom.
But you
world.
guys are talking about liberty, and then you're talking about rules. The two don't go hand in hand.
Thank you for the call.
You're welcome.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark.
There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's the video sensation that's taking the internet by storm. A web series on YouTube passed the 100 views mark this week. Titled Andrew and John, the wildly popular webisodes feature roommates Andrew Vanier and John Haney playing fictionalized versions of themselves in unusual situations, mostly set in and around their Chicago apartment.
Dude, did you get my tart? What's a tart? Oh, you just texted me a fart.
Their latest short, titled Laundry Day, reached the unprecedented 100-view milestone this week after a heavy promotional push in which the duo posted the skits to their Facebook pages. The hit video features the roommates wearing unconventional outfits while scrounging up enough change to do laundry in their basement. Other popular episodes include Foreign Landlord, featuring John's friend Brett from work, and a video where Andrew suspects John might be a zombie.
Our videos consistently get over 50 views now, but Laundry Day, that's the first one that's really taken off.
Yeah, everyone I know has seen it.
It's completely viral.
This is the Onion News Network.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You're welcome to call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Melanie.
And Aria.
Let's go to the phones here, but real quick before we do, I want to tell you about Fork Fest. Fork Fest is a party Free Talk Live is going to be at. It's a camping party in the woods at Rogers Campground, the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's not just camping. It's going to be lots of different things going on. People vending food. People are going to be doing events. There's something called Man Camp going on. This is our 3rd year of our little camping event. It's nothing official. There's no tickets other than you have to get come in, pay to be at the campground. You decide what to do. It's June the 13th through the 18th, so it's coming up at Rogers Campground, and it's right before the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Go to forkfest.party. You can join the Telegram chat. You can they got the Forkfest forum there. The unofficial website is forkfest.party. Come on out and join us. Let's go to the phones. We've got Rat Speed. Rat
Hello.
Speed, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hi. Well, okay. And this call is partially due to the fact that I haven't been able to listen to Free Talk Live very much over the last maybe 6 to 8 months.
No one wants to hear your excuses.
Well, Aria, I'm glad to see someone who's transgender on the show. First of all, because you're welcome. And you look very pretty. I just want to say that I have had, and I have transgender friends in real life as well, locally to me.
I'm glad you have
online.
friends. Just teasing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, believe me, with how offensive I could be at times, I'm surprised I do. But what I wanted to ask about is, Aria, can I ask what your personal take is on pronouns as far as what you prefer to be called and what you object to be called? For instance, like the word they. I know a lot of people, especially if they're gender queer or gender fluid, they usually like to be called they sometimes.
I hate that one.
What's your own personal opinion on that? I was curious.
Well, I prefer she and her over he and him, but it's not something I get bent out of shape about. Because this pronoun selection thing, it happens on unconscious levels. People don't really give it any thought whether or not they should say he or she when they encounter someone.
Well, what if they are giving a thought? What if I just say he and I drag it out a little bit?
I mean, people do that to me. They do.
Not just he or she, though.
Right, and I understand
especially
there's Z and they and all of that. They, I find to be, we were talking about anonymous English and how it handles not knowing the gender of the person with whom you're speaking earlier.
I am so
I actually
glad.
prefer they over he or she. It's sloppy, sure, to use a pronoun known to be plural to refer to a single individual, but it's also not entirely grammatically incorrect.
It isn't?
Yeah,
Please tell me how it's not.
Because if you were to say he or she, you are referring to two theoretical people.
No, you're referring to one theoretical person who may be of either gender.
I can help out here. I'm a grammar Nazi.
All right.
Okay. This is
You can invade
where my
Poland
contention is with it.
over a period at the end of the sentence. Go ahead.
Well, I'm actually a trained editor, so let's hear it.
Okay. I think you're on the right track. The proper use of it is when something is being referred to as an indefinite article. In other words, someone, he or she, who has not been personally identified as an individual. And the way that you can test this is if you use the word they in a singular pronoun when you know who the person is. For instance, if you say, they is going to the market, that's incorrect, but that's essentially what you would have to do. So that's where a definite article comes in, and once the definite article has been established, you're supposed to say he, she, or whatever definite clause or definite pronoun is supposed to use. Now, the reason why I brought this up, and I'm glad that you kind of see it from a clinical, analytical standpoint, I see it the same way. I have actually been called a transphobic hater, especially with people that I talk to online.
I've been called that as well.
It drives me nuts. And I'm just okay. So I was just curious, and it's getting near the end of the program, and I just thought, okay, well, maybe I should call up with something that's slightly frivolous, because as far as I'm concerned, everyone's an individual and everyone should be respected. And just because I accidentally use the wrong pronoun doesn't mean that I'm attacking your identity.
So
I agree.
For me, I'm willing to do. Look, if you're going to take the effort to put a dress on in the morning, all right, I'll call you her and she. Not a problem with me.
Yeah.
Well, it takes more effort to put on pants than it does a dress.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time putting dresses on. It would be hard for me to put a dress on. I can tell you that.
Mark, we need to do that. We need to put you to the test. You need.
We got him to dye his hair blue
on the air once.
We'll put me on. We'll put a dress on me for if we can raise some money for the next cause that I put together. But we'll talk about that later. I'll wear something.
By the way, I have been listening to this show long enough to know that you are the artist formerly known as Manwich.
Oh yeah, man, you have been listening a long time.
It's been a long time, but I've enjoyed the show so far. Stay on the air, guys.
Thanks for the call, Ratspeed. 855-450-3733. So if you're willing to go through the efforts of pretending to be a gender you're not, fine. I understand. I'm coming from this conservative background. Whatever. I'm just doing the best I can here. And
I appreciate that and respect that. I think that's where a lot of trans people go wrong, is that they're not willing to recognize that, other people are putting in the effort in a lot of cases.
But where I'm not willing to go is, I'm not willing to do the them, they thing. Just not going to do that. I'm not using plurals in the singular slots, and I'm unwilling to do it. You may be able to convince me otherwise, but today, at this moment in time, as the words fall out of my mouth, no.
Well, if I know I'm referring to a single person, I'm going to choose he or she based on their characteristics. But if it's an unknown person, I'm going to say they.
Now, you might be able to convince me through conversation that there is a particular new set of pronouns that makes some sense, like the Z's and the them and all this stuff out there.
That's what they won't convince me of.
See, if you just want to make new words, Quakers, I am a Quaker, Quakers did this a lot. They decided they didn't like the months of the year because, like, March means Mars. So, nope, can't have that. So they call it first month, second month, third month. They also didn't like the days of the week because Wednesday is Woden's day and Saturday is Saturn's day, and it just goes on from there. So they called it first day, second day, third day, first day being Sunday, second day being Monday, and on from there. So they'd say, see you first day, the first day of the third month, or whatever is how they would refer to these things. And they mix their language up, and I get it. If you've got reasons for doing it, that's fine. I don't think that because you, the listener, like a particular set of pronouns that it somehow makes anything necessarily incumbent upon me, though. Right? Like, I'm going to use the pronouns I'm going to use. I've been convinced at this point that that politeness overrides the the stalwart defense of the English language from the standpoint of gender or whatever. I used to be of that opinion, but I realized, look, I control words. Words don't control me. So I'm willing to, take a step forward. But they and them, I guess I'm just not. No thanks. I'm stiff-necked on some things.
I just find it easier.
Well, it's your use of the language. If somebody's confused, though, that's your problem, right? Like, they were expecting, oh, you're here for the party. I thought you were bringing a group. No, I never said anything like that. Oh, by God, you did. You said they would be here at such and such a time or whatever. I'm just using the example that you can create some confusion around language. Language is confusing enough, let alone tossing in plurals where singulars are supposed to be. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico here. Let's let him tease his call. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, fact checks, first of all.
Oh, I love fact checks.
So you're talking about catching more flies with honey than vinegar.
Yes, on the first call of the night.
I mean, you catch even more with cow patties.
Hold the line, David. Hold the line. I got the funny comment, so I'm just going to save it right there. The number is 855-450-3733. What's the gender of the cow patty? 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. Phone lines are full. I say we get right down to it. Thanks to the amplifiers, we'll go back to David in New Mexico. David, you're back on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, so anyway, quick on the fact checks. If you nowadays people buy their vinegar from the store, but for most of eternity, people made their own vinegar. Their fermented fruit turned into alcohol, and then after alcohol, it turned into vinegar. And so if you do an experiment, if you make your own vinegar out of whatever you want to, and here's a good one, if you take a glass of beer and just let it stand at room temperature, within a day or two, you can taste it, it starts turning to vinegar. And if you put a tub of honey in a glass of beer that's turned to vinegar, or it's turning to vinegar, the honey will have almost no flies in it, and the beer will be full. And then on trigger pull, Mel was talking about children and guns. In this country, even in this state, in New Mexico, toddlers are constantly shooting themselves and their siblings when they get a hold of their parents' handguns. The trigger pull on a handgun, I think, is around 3 pounds, 3 to 4 pounds. The absolute lowest is supposed to be 2, so 3-4 pounds is typically what it is. And like I said, the toddlers are constantly shooting. They're shooting what they're not supposed to shoot. Anyway,
it's the reason I like single actions. I like a single action pistol because it basically has a built-in safety. You gotta pull that big old hammer back, and then you gotta light trigger pull at that point usually. But it tends to solve that problem.
Yeah, well, it's a two-step thing. Pulling the hammer back doesn't take all that much pull either. But anyway, you had a conversation earlier with Sarah about the radio business and banning. And Sarah had been banned once from the main radio station here in Albuquerque. I don't know what she did. The producer there, one of the producers, told me that she was on the list and then she got off of it. And I don't know what she did to get off of it. But Ian has been talking in the past about how I guess both of you have conversations about, like, Michael Savage goes off the air, so it's more opportunity for you guys to fill in the calendar block at different radio stations for time slots, which basically makes the point that radio time is finite. It's not infinite.
Yep.
If you count the web, it's infinite. But if you're talking about broadcast, there's a finite space of bandwidth for 24 hours a day on X number of frequencies that are available and being used. And so it's a finite commodity. So that's one important thing. You were talking about reasons people get banned, and I'm talking about this because people like to ban me, and so I picked up on that. And one of the things that you missed in banning is not, being argumentative or whatever is one, being boring is another, being single subject is another. However, the subject matter, on your program you deal, people call in with complaints, problems, controversy, whatever. Yep. And so there's a million of those different ones. However, people don't. There seems to be a bias against the population of people that have been afflicted the way I have over their children. For some reason, people don't want to hear about it. And
on radio generally.
Yeah, radio generally. And let me give you a real life example, and a really good one. One would be that I've been flat out told that multiple times on air and off air about how
nobody cares.
And it's a ratings killer.
Yeah.
That the bottom line in radio is money. I don't know what your bottom line is, but to everybody else, it's money, and it's a ratings killer, and therefore it costs them money, and so that's why they ban somebody. If that's when somebody calls up about their gun rights, everybody's happy to talk about it. But when somebody calls up about
kids' rights,
their children disappearing,
I think another thing is, David, they just don't know what to do. Right? It's a desperate situation. A parent that has been separated from their kid unjustly, in what they feel to be unjustly, it's a desperate situation, and you want to help, but you don't know how, and you're not necessarily sure. One of these parties is lying, always. So you're not necessarily sure whether you're listening to the liar, and that's just kind of how humans are about any situation like that.
Well, wait a minute. No, that's not necessarily true. One of the parties is not necessarily always lying, because
almost always
two parties can go into a courtroom and both of them tell the truth, and neither one of them have done anything grievous enough to warrant a loss of what they want, in this case their children. However, the court being, and you're not going to argue with me on this one, the court being not intrinsically not fair, not just, not equal, not intelligent, all of the negatives you can think of, in most cases, the majority of the time, they're all of that. Occasionally, you get individual judges in a court that are decent human beings and do the right thing. But the majority of the time, it's not about justice. It's about, what we're going to do, what we want to do, and we're going to finagle the law to make it happen.
David, I don't disagree with you. I got to let you go. Thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. 855-450-3733. Let's go to Looney calling in from, I believe, Arizona. Looney, you're on Free Talk Live.
Mark, I think you meant double action on that one.
No, a double action, you can pull the trigger and the hammer will come back. It's a long trigger pull. But
isn't that what you're talking about?
No, what I'm talking about is a single action where you have to pull the hammer back, and then you've got a trigger pull to fire the weapon.
If you didn't pull the hammer back, then it would pull back as you pulled the trigger.
I don't believe that's true in a single action. I believe that it's a revolver where pulling the trigger back doesn't do anything until you have pulled the hammer back, and then you pull the trigger.
I don't want to get into the minutia of handguns. That's certainly not my wheelhouse.
Certainly not mine either.
The reason I called was that in about 2 hours from now in Los Angeles, there's going to be a talk by a guy named Brock Davignon. I don't suppose there's any listeners that could make it, but
it's not going to be on the internet?
Well, it will be, but not live. Anyway,
okay.
What he's going to be talking about is a creative new idea to create presidential debates online. And track record. And back in 1992, he was instrumental in putting together a satellite-based opinion voting system that got a lot of independent candidates, especially Mr. Ross Perot, a lot more visibility. So he's trying to let everybody have that. It's called Debate Tourney 2020. And it's part of a larger he's putting together. And I think that this presidential debate issue, I think, is a hot one, and it's going to become hotter as we come closer to the election.
Where can people find out more?
It's debatetourney.com, debate, TOURNEY. Okay. And it's part of freedomtvnetworks.com.
Oh.
And I will give you more information as it develops. But thanks for letting us get a chance to say something about it, and you'll be hearing more about it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Paul.
All right.
855-450-3733. I didn't really keep anonymity there. The online name was Looney, but I happen to know that's Paul. I've met Paul and his girlfriend several times. I think it's girlfriend, maybe it's wife. I don't know. Whatever. It's a piece of paper.
Speaking of presidential campaigns, though, Bill Weld announced his campaign to be
as what?
Republican.
As a Republican. So was the Libertarian vice, now a Republican. This happens a lot to the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, you would think they would stop courting these washed-up Republicans at some point.
You'd think. I'll bet you, this is just a guess, that Bill Weld hopes to run against Trump And then when that fails, which inevitably it will against the sitting president, right?
Right.
Just a sort of a protest vote possibility.
He's going to come back to the LP. And
come
they're
back
gonna
to the LP
welcome him.
with the intention of, just seeing if they can get back on board. And, well, we'll see. So we had a call on here, but, I guess we don't now. Where were we on this the story? I've forgotten what story we were talking about even. Melanie, what was it here?
It was the IMF and Julian Assange.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. They gave them money and made them have a plan, and then a month later, for no reason, Julian Assange got arrested. That was basically it.
And the other two pieces of show prep sitting here are some cop apparently mistakes his taser again as a gun and shoots and kills somebody. Yep. And then some senator apparently says Assange is U.S. property.
Yes, a West Virginia senator said, "We're going to extradite him. It will be really good to get back on the United States soil. So now he's our property, and we can get the facts and truth from him." West Virginia Democrat told CNN.
I don't think telling the truth was ever Julian Assange's problem.
Yeah, that's not something you have to kidnap him for.
He's pretty open with the truth.
Get him back on U.S. soil. These people act like he's an American.
Yeah, he's Australian.
Well, he can't be. They'll talk about he's guilty of treason. He can't be, actually.
Right. He hasn't committed treason. Just because it's not something you like, it doesn't mean it's treason. Check us out, freetalklive.com. Ian's really pushing this dlive.lrn.fm. I think it's worth going over there and doing a like. I did it, and I like their service, dlive.lrn.fm.
Hi. Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,285. Silver at $14.87, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,133. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, The next major conflict may be won or lost in space.
My goal and the department's goal is to grow what we call our margin of dominance in space.
That's according to Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan, who made comments at the Space Symposium in Colorado Springs, Colorado, last week.
And our legacy systems are not designed to operate in this environment.
Shanahan said the U.S. military is not moving fast enough to stay ahead of its rivals China and Russia in the space race.
China is moving fast to grow their presence in space. Last year, their government put 38 rockets into orbit. This is more than double the 17 that our government launched.
Shanahan warned that both countries have already acquired weapon technologies with the intent to strike American spy satellites in the event of conflict. The acting defense secretary endorsed President Trump's Space Force, which he said will allow the military to combat hypersonic attacks